So yesterday down in Athens, Georgia, the judge took 20 minutes to sentence, to find that guy right there, Jose Ibarra, guilty, and then to sentence him. This all happened so quickly. He murdered Laken Riley back in February. And then this case is already tried. He's already sentenced. It happened very quickly. Yesterday was very emotional. Laken's stepfather, her father, her mother, her sister, I believe that's her sister in the striped sweatshirt or sweater, her best friends, they all spoke. And they were talking about how chilling it is to be in the same room with the guy who took their sister, their loved one's life. And as a mother to a little girl, I cannot imagine how Laken's mom feels. She told the court, she told Ibarra, you took away my best friend. And she talked about the fear that her daughter must have felt and that her daughter died alone. Listen to this.
There is no end to the pain, suffering, and loss that we have experienced or will continue to endure. My precious daughter was attacked, beaten, and shown no mercy. She fought for her life and dignity and to save herself from being brutally raped. This sick, twisted, and evil coward showed no regard for Laken or human life. Your Honor, I'm asking you to please give Jose Ibarra the same thing he gave us when he made the choice to take Laken's life and destroy ours. He showed no mercy on Laken when she was begging for her life.
No mercy. And it sounded like she wanted the death penalty. However, because there's a progressive DA down there, he's only winding up with life in prison with no chance of parole. Of course, in the future, that might change. But there are lawmakers in Georgia who are calling on the attorney general there to reverse that and intervene and demand the death penalty.
That is Colton Moore. He says, I'm calling on the attorney general to file an emergency motion, intervene, and demand the death penalty for this killer, convicted killer. And if you want to just know what we're up against, that dispassionate look from this gang member from that brutal Venezuelan gang sat there in a plaid shirt, listened to all this, and had no remorse. There's no remorse there. There's no regret there. It seems like we're bothering him by putting him on trial. And we all got a quick look at the dangers at the border. You can't marginalize what people are saying and come out with stats that say illegal immigrants are less likely to commit crimes than legal Americans with their paperwork done, because we know what they're capable of, and every one of these murders or these rapes are all preventable. Governor Brian Kemp weighed in with Lawrence a short time ago.
This one hits close to home for us. Marty and the girls and I live in Athens, Georgia. We know the judge. We know the deputy that was standing right there in the courtroom. We know the Phillips and Riley families. Our daughter's a senior at the University of Georgia. And I mean, even when I was on campus, both Marty and I have been in the area where Laken lost her life. I can't tell you how many times. It is a bittersweet day. This is a tragic event, as you and your colleagues have been saying, never should have happened. But it did because of bad policies of this administration, which is quite honestly outrageous. But I am thankful that justice was swift here and the judge moved so quickly.
One thing I think that people are missing with this case is Trinidad and Tobago, which is reportedly he's a part of, they work within the prison system. So we're putting them in prison to go back to people that are operating within the prison. This is like a gift for him. This is why they need to evaluate the death penalty. Are y'all going to have them in an isolation? What's going to happen? Because you may be turning them into the criminal enterprise where he can still invoke harm. They communicate on the outside. We know they're here. So I just don't understand the logic behind this. I know they want to reimagine the justice system, but that makes zero sense to me.
Well, I also think it's also important to understand that there was one person, one president that called, that got in touch with
Laken's family.
With Laken's family. And there's one that put out on Truth Social his feelings about the conviction and the sadness he feels for the family as Donald Trump. You still don't have the Biden administration even responding to this.
No calls.
But how about tone deafness? Yesterday, they launched a new ICE app allowing illegals beginning in December to bypass in-person check-ins, making it harder to track them. And with the check-in, you don't have to give up your background. You don't have to talk about if you have any outstanding warrants. They have no way of checking if there's a warrant out for your arrest. and 100,000 migrants are immediately enrolled in the first wave of the program. There's 58,000 illegals living in New York City. So he, to the end, is for the illegal immigrant. That's his policy, whether he knows it or not.
You know what? And being from the South, like this whole East Coast, this is my world. These are my people. And this is New York was always our Mecca when we grew up down South. If you got a chance to go to New York, it was so fun to just go and see the lights in a show, maybe. So to know that this guy was right over here at the Roosevelt Hotel, and then he left there and we paid for him to take a flight down to another beloved area, which is Georgia, and live near the campus, which is such an awesome campus in Athens. UGA, when we would go there, when Carolina would play, we would have so much fun in Athens. This guy lived there, and we were paying for him and his brother, and they're a part of this gang. And he goes into this park that looks like a beautiful park, and he attacks this girl who's running like we all do, or we all walk in the park and exercise. It could have happened in Central Park, could have happened in this gorgeous park, and he pulls her aside, and he thinks because he wants to sleep with her and brutally attack her and please himself that he can just throw her on the ground and brutally attack her and try to have his way with her and then bash her head in with a rock. This guy's here illegal. And all these governors that are from Democratic cities, and they say, oh, well, it happens sometimes and get over it and we're going to be a sanctuary city. This could happen to your daughter, too.
100%.
This could be your child, and your life could change forever like Laken Riley's family. Well, they'll never be the same.
Well, Governor Healy, and that's why Tom Homan was on last night. Governor Healy said this,
Yes.
sometimes
Yes.
things
Sometimes
happen.
things happen.
Yeah.